Verbal contracts are a common part of our daily lives, but what happens when someone breaks their word? Today, we're exploring the legal implications and remedies for breaking a verbal contract. A verbal contract, also known as an oral agreement, is a deal made through speech rather than in writing. While many people assume these agreements aren't legally binding, they often are. However, enforcing them can be tricky. For any contract to be valid, including verbal ones, it must have four essential elements: an offer, acceptance, intent, and consideration. An offer is when one party proposes something in exchange for something else. Acceptance occurs when the other party agrees to the terms. Intent means both parties understand they're entering a legally binding agreement. Lastly, consideration is the exchange of something valuable between the parties. Now, are verbal agreements truly binding? In many cases, yes. If they meet the legal requirements, verbal contracts can be just as enforceable as written ones. However, this is where things get complicated. The main challenge with verbal contracts is proving their existence and terms. Without a written document, it often becomes a he said, she said situation. Courts must rely on witness testimony, circumstantial evidence, or actions taken under the alleged agreement. This makes enforcing verbal contracts significantly more difficult than written ones. Another hurdle is the statute of frauds. This legal principle requires certain types of contracts to be in writing to be enforceable. These typically include agreements involving real estate, marriages, long-term commitments lasting more than a year, and high-value transactions. If your verbal agreement falls into one of these categories, you might find it unenforceable in court. So, what happens if someone breaks a verbal contract? If you can prove the agreement existed and was breached, there are several potential remedies. The court might award compensatory damages, requiring the breaching party to pay for losses caused by the breach. In some cases, the court may order specific performance, compelling the breaching party to fulfill their obligations. Alternatively, the contract might be rescinded, returning both parties to their pre-contract positions. To sum up, while verbal contracts can be legally binding, they present unique challenges when it comes to enforcement. The lack of written evidence makes them harder to prove in court, and some agreements must be in writing to be valid. If you find yourself dealing with a broken verbal contract, it's crucial to gather any available evidence and consider consulting with a legal professional to understand your options. Remember, while a handshake deal might seem simpler, having important agreements in writing can save you a lot of headaches down the road. Always consider the potential risks before relying solely on a verbal contract.